Good afternoon, ladies and jelly beans. Hashtag all jelly bean lives matter. Anyway, before we start, I'm going to attempt my very first ride in first person. I guess a statement would be I have attempted it before, but I'm really considering making the switch full time. And when you look at all the top guys, they seem to use first person for line selection, everything else, etc., etc. If you guys are new to first person, as am I, I'm not entirely sure what the best setting would be. But if you do want to change all your tilt and pitch and stuff, one of my mates told me to do this. If you're on your keyboard, just press Shift and C. You can change your riding position there. And if you want to press Shift and C again, that'll change how high, I guess, the head and tilt and pitch is. I haven't quite figured out exactly what I like yet, but we're going to go with that. I've got a couple of old lap times saved on here in third person, and I thought I'd give it a go and see and stall it straight out of the pits. That's exactly what we're going to see out of the video. So I rode on the Pro Series 450 Championship last Friday, and it went horribly. Just did not go well. Consistency was just god awful, and I noticed I couldn't really see in third person on that track in particular where my front wheel was. And the more I watch people in first person, the more I realise, they can see kind of where they're putting their bike, and they're more consistent, and cornering seems to be a lot easier. Not saying that first person doesn't obviously present challenges. You don't know where your rider's exactly rear wheel is, and you can't adjust too much. But I'm going to give it a go. I've got that horrible thing you'll see when I go over a jump. Watch how I kind of rotate the left, even though I don't need to. I kind of wobble the wheel a bit, which isn't good. It should just stay where it is, but that's a horrible habit I need to get out of. And I'm thinking of switching full time if it goes well, only because I think it will help my riding ability a little bit. The game's a little bit more immersive in first person. I think if we're looking at MX bikes, this is the way it should be played. It's difficult though, because I've come from like MX versus ATV, MX GP, and all those arcade games, and we traditionally ride those all in third person, and it seems so alien. Oh, let me go tuck the front. It seems so alien to play in first person mode for me anyway. I don't know what MX Simulator players were like. I don't know if they played in first, but the game is definitely more immersive and probably by proxy a little bit more enjoyable. I'm struggling already with on third person. You seem to have to lean a lot more than you would in first, which is weird. I guess because your perception is different. You just need to make micro adjustments. I guess if you're new to bikes, I guess my advice would be starting first and probably staying first. I do enjoy seeing the rider and the bike and stuff, but you can just see your line selection and everything else so much more. It's my first official lap in first person. Alright, let's see what we can do. I've started attempting to counter steer a little bit more, but it's gotten me to that point of where I'm focusing so hard on the counter steer, I'm not focusing on my left stick just like that. So I'm focusing more on my right hand and now on my left, and it's just a learning curve. I wish I would have come out starting already with counter steering and first person. But when you come from an arcade game, you don't counter steer. The physics are so easy that you don't have to worry about any of that. Even if you go back to the MX versus ATV games where you're just using both sticks, the physics are so comical, really, that you're not thinking about counter steering or anything like that. If you're a rider in real life, which I am not, the people that I speak to that are riders in real life, they're like, wow, the technique translates so much. How you get over the front end corners, how you counter steer, how you set up lines, how you stand up, sit down, etc., etc. Whereas if you're like me, who are just a kind of a fan of the sport, you don't think about all of these things because the technique is foreign to us. So it's kind of like learning how to ride a bike in a simulator, which is fun. Uh, Definitely presents its own challenges. Now we got to think about tear-offs. But I think I've made the mistake of, I don't know if the mistake's the right word, but I've entered a pro championship, and it's because I want to do well straight away. I'm riding against people that have double or triple the playtime than me, and they're so good, and it's kind of not sucking the enjoyment out of the game, but making it feel like I have to come on here a lot more than I should, probably nearly every day, to put in more laps, and because I want to do well to produce content, because there's so many quick guys out there. But I'm kind of give myself a super hard time, but I've only been playing for a couple of months, and I'm like, I want to win a pro championship, and like that's kind of an unrealistic goal. And I'll be mentioning that when I make my beginners video. I'm gonna sit down and actually learn how to do the editing software and put something together. Because we all want to be balls fast straight away, but this game has a horrible learning curve, and it's made me want to quit playing altogether. But the game is so much fun, and it is the best motocross game out at the moment. There's nothing that even comes close to it, and I want to keep playing. I want to keep creating content, but I feel pressured to be like, oh, I need to be quick, I need to be this, I need to be that, and it's taken away from the enjoyment a little bit because I wrongly have put myself under pressure on a stupid video game, which is dumb. But you know, I'm going to strip it right back, stick to a few tracks that I know, stick to some basic tracks. I'll finish the Pro Series Championship, but I kind of want to go back to learning again and get good with this first person. I spent probably all of my time in third, so this is brand new to me. Definitely already I'm enjoying it. I love hearing the bike sounds. I love how this visualization makes me feel like I'm actually on a motorbike, which is nuts. I have done a very limited riding when I have done it, and it's unbelievable how good it is. I am enjoying this. It's a whole different game again, though. Oh, hello. My lap time's atrocious, but I'm not even worried about lap times. It's going to be this process now of putting in the time and picking up the speed, and that's going to be one of my tips in the beginner videos. I'd still class myself as a beginner to intermediate rider, and don't expect to go fast quickly. You know, when I first played this game, I couldn't even get around a corner. I was like, what do? You have to stand up, you have to change gear, like what is this madness? It's not just pull the throttle and turn and fucking don't worry about braking or engine braking or gas gyro or any of that stuff. It's, oh, what cool whips can I do? And that's not the case at all. So, you know, like I'm going to kind of strip this first person gameplay back to as if I am a new player again, and just slowly but surely build on that speed. I'm not looking to catch even these ghosts in front of me. I think their lap times aren't even good. They're a 2:08, which is, I think, my best ever on here is a 2:05, you know, so they're not even remarkably that quick, and I'm not looking to catch them anytime soon. We're just going to slowly build this speed over and over again. So we'll do another couple of laps here. But this is fun, this is enjoyable. Must make it interesting when battling. But I can already see how I got into that rut, and I could see it, and I could see where my front wheel tracks, and you don't have to do so much kind of corrective measures in the turn. Probably should pull tail off soon though. I'm a stubborn bastard though. I'll ride around with dirt in my goggles the whole time. I'm the same. I've rode quite a few road bikes in my time, and I could be absolutely honking down with rain, and I'm like, nah, I'm not lifting my visor. I can see through that 1 square inch. I do know you have a limited number of tear-offs, so it'd be interesting to see what that limit is. I really enjoy that about the game. I got that horrible tendency to try and correct my front wheel in the air, like it's going to do anything, like I can do anything in the air at that point. I have to double that. We are on the KX450, which is by far my favourite 450. I've tried a few of them, but to me the Kawasaki seems really balanced. It's got good power. I made the mistake of switching over too soon, really. I should have spent a little bit more time on the 250F. 250F is so much easier to ride. Again, if you're new at the game, stick to a 250F 125. Like, 125 is easier again. It is a bit of a bugbear of mine how you could be playing people in a public lobby and somehow 125 keeps up with a 450 on a straight, and I'm like, come on, like, that needs to change. But apart from that, I don't have many complaints, if any, with the game. It's at the front. We'll do one more lap. Let's do one more. I will put the beginner video out soon. Remember to counter steer, counter steer, counter steer. On the gas. Get stood up for this little bit here, make sure the front wheel's high. Again, we're looking to come to the corner here, get into the rut, make sure we apex it nice, triple over. Again, probably want to cut down a little bit earlier there. Rolling on the gas on the 450 because she's a biter. And 250 if you could just hammer it. Like here, I've got to kind of give it a little blip over the tabletop. Sat down here, stood up over the rough stuff now. Probably should have stood up longer. Sat down again. Stand back up for the jump. Stay stood up just a little bit longer. Back down. Nice smooth throttle control through. It's the tabletop, just a little blip. Blap. Straighten to sit down. Counter steer. Left stick. Right stick out. Boom. If this quad. I will say it's easier to make jumps in a 450. Slowing down for this corner. I'm going to cut down a little bit earlier, get on the gas early and through. There we go. Double, double. Sit down again for here. Stand back up. Sit down into this corner, counter steering just a little bit and over this tabletop. Stay stood up in the rough, stay stood up, stay stood up, stood up. Now sit down. Stay sat down for this corner. There are a few braking bumps, but there's nothing to worry about. And over. Probably could have stayed stood up here, but fuck it. Over the tabletop, we're going to get aim for the inside now. Oh, no, I'm way too high on that tabletop. Gas, 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 gas all the way through, little blip. Sit down, try and get to the inside of this corner. Inside to this next one. Counter steering a little bit, and we tuck the front. See, that's so easy to tuck the front. That's what's going through my head basically when I'm playing. Still nowhere near the lap time, but I'm really not bothered about that right now. I'm not bothered about whipping or anything like that. Just learning the game, just going back to basics again. Yeah, that was enjoyable. I genuinely enjoyed that. That looks funny looking in reverse. Hello. Whole new kind of level to the game. Quite enjoyable actually. So I'm really unsure whether I'll do the next round in first person. I believe the next series of the championship is Trentino, which is a great track. Quite technical, good track. Last week I went 5th and 3rd for 3rd overall, simply because not a lot of people turned up for the second moto, but you know, you've got to be in it to win it. My goal in the Pro Series is not to come last, which we didn't. Consistency is horrific, but we're working on it, you know. It's so easy to look at the guys that are winning and be like, how are they doing it? But we all put in the time and we will get better at stuff, but that's interesting in first person. The max HUD definitely helps with split stuff, and that it's hard not to look at it when you first install it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna continue this trajectory on learning first person, and I really like the line selection on it as well. Like you can see quickly before we cut this off. Like for instance, in third person, when we're in this next corner coming down, just take it slow. Proceeds to hammer in third. So like here I'm going out wide in third person, you can't really see where your front wheel's going, whereas I can line this up. Wasn't the greatest turn ever, but it's easier to line stuff up, definitely. I like that. The sense of speed is a lot higher as well in third person. You feel like you're going through treacle. Cool. All right, let's end it there. But we are now over the 200 subscriber mark, which is awesome. I did say to you guys that I would release a beginner tips video. I'm really busy with the work and gym again now, so I do have limited time, but I will probably look to release that this weekend. I've got the race this Friday as well, so we'll put some hard practice into that. But if you guys, you know, as I'm in that beginner stage with you, if you've got anything you want to see, give me a shout. If not, we'll continue releasing videos. Cool. Catch you guys later.